Heading northwest Indiana tonight, dumping several inches of snow, making driving treacherous. Now, the high winds are creating whiteout conditions, and drivers along 80-94 being told to get off the roads as soon as possible. Now, WGN's Julie Unruh is live in northwest Illinois tonight with the very latest details. Hi, Julie.
We're in Indiana, Micah, and Indiana State Police want all drivers off the road, at least in this area, along 80-94, the toll road, as well as I-65. Those are the major trouble spots right now. And I can tell you firsthand, there are some problems out here. We drove about a 10-mile stretch between Portage and Chesterton. We saw overturned cars, even trucks in ditches, and at that point, the storm was just rolling in.
It was really, really intense. I've never driven through anything like this before, ever.
DJ Lee and the rest of his band drove through the wind, the snow, and the cold that is plaguing northwest Indiana tonight.
Like, you couldn't really see anything in front of you. The wind was blowing so hard. And then, like, you couldn't tell what the highway was either, and no one else could in front of you. So it was pretty intense.
The crew says cars are inching along the toll road as trucks take over.
They like to go about 40 miles an hour when you're trying to go like 20. It just doesn't work out.
It definitely didn't work out for this driver or this trucker, two of the many abandoned vehicles we saw up and down 80-90 tonight. The weather and the roads only got worse as you traveled east, virtual whiteout conditions at times. But earlier in the day, it was the mad rush to fill up and stock up before the storm really moved in. Topping off fluids and gas tanks was priority number one at this northwest Indiana rest stop. As flags whipped in the wind and the cold hovered well below freezing, Del Campbell was not intimidated, driving a pickup truck. He says it's every man for himself on the road today.
I mean, you know, it's snow, no big deal. We live here. It's not even cold yet.
Not even cold? Cold enough for me and for Juliana Dye, who could feed a small army from the trunk of her car.
Flowers, cans, all kinds of cans, and pastas, candies, bread, everything.
For others on the road, just another storm during just another winter in the Midwest.
I come from Wisconsin. This is normal.
Now, with all this wild weather, there's some good news to report, and that's that none of the major highways are closed at this hour. Remember, that all could change overnight. For now, we're live in Porter County. Julie Unruh, WGN News. Back to you guys.
Julie's favorite story of the week.
All right.
Now to the Weather Center. Tom Skilling, how much could pile up out there?
Do you know there could be places that can move in on 20 inches, Mark and Micah? That's amazing. And the rate at which it's fallen today has challenged the fastest rate in any storm that we've had here in Chicago, coming down at the rate of 3.5 to 4 inches per hour in the hardest hit areas. Valparaiso's at 9, San Pierre in Stark County, Indiana, 8.5 inches, Chesterton 6 and counting, Westville, that's where that 4 inches per hour came down earlier this evening, 5 inches, Michigan City now up to 7 inches, and they've got zero visibility where the heavy snow is coming down here. It's been Porter, LaPorte, and Berrien counties, western Berrien getting the heaviest snow. Lake County's been changed to a lake snow advisory as the snow intensities have let up. But just look how rock solid this little area of snow, we call it a snow plume, is. Low-level winds converge there. That piles up the moisture. You can see it travels over hundreds of miles of lake water. That gives it plenty of time to pick up moisture. And if you're on the receiving end of this, your visibility, as has been the case, and as many of you reported to us, is down to 20 feet or less in the heart of this, and Michigan City sits right under that plume tonight. What's ahead? Well, our RPM model says this thing is pretty well locked in place. It'll wobble around a little bit, but there are hours of heavy snow coming in here. Thus, you know, you figure 1 to 2 inches per hour in some of these hours, and you can see how we'll easily get with 10 inches down in some areas already, somewhere up in the neighborhood of 20 inches of snow in some locations. And here's a look at where the heaviest snow will come down. We've missed it, and we also have a big warm-up on the way. Good news for Indiana and for Chicago. We'll talk about that later on the weather. We have viewer